and Boripa local governments. Mr. Speaker, I am from the state of Osun. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, I do sincerely understand the perspective behind the thoughts of the sponsor of this bill. I also do appreciate the confusion in taking a final position on this bill by the House leader. And I can explain it, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. I think the confusion comes from the fact that the legal profession, which I proudly belong to, from where I have been seconded to these hallowed chambers in the service of my people, in the service of the nation, is a noble profession in all its ramifications, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. It's a noble profession, not just in words, in thoughts and in deeds. Mr. Speaker, the jurisprudence of law that we all know and the judiciary is that the judiciary is the most protected, the most secretive, and the most sensitive arm of government, because in our Constitution, they are the only arm of government that has the power to take life. Mr. Speaker, if we do understand that...
Either was the point of order. Hon Adeyinka, please.
Provision. I think I just heard Honorable Ajayi refer to the judiciary as a secret court. And we all know that the Constitution prohibits. He did. He just said so now. He said it's the most secretive. And there are implications to that. So we need to be very, very careful with our language when we describe arms of government and institutions. The judiciary is not sacred. The judiciary is open and transparent. Thank you.
Okay, Hon Adeyinka, please. I missed that bit, really. Maybe because I wasn't listening attentively.
Mr. Speaker, I take it that Mr. Speaker missed that part because I never said so.
He's the leader line.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, the point is that this profession, the bench, is the last hope of the common man. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, may God forbid the day that an innocent man is convicted of a crime just because of the pressure of the media on the judiciary. The jurisprudence that you and I know, Mr. Speaker, is that the law would not mind setting free 10 guilty men than to convict one innocent person. Mr. Speaker, the risk that we run if we pass this law is that we are subjecting our trial courts. We're not even talking of courts, the Court of Appeal or Supreme Courts, which are courts of records. Trial courts would be subjected to media coverage. Mr. Speaker, the implications, and my dear colleagues, the implications are far-reaching because we are exposing this judiciary to trial by the public. We do not have a jury system, Mr. Speaker. That is why our courts are protected. I'm not unmindful of the provisions of the Constitution that have been cited, Section 36, Section 37, private hearing and all that, fair hearing, privacy. These are provisions of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, that Section 45 makes an exception to. So I'm not unmindful of this exception. But the exception is clear in our Constitution, Mr. Speaker, and the exception says that these provisions can be ignored if there is no risk to public safety or public order. Mr. Speaker, I'm urging my colleagues that this law would put public safety or public order in jeopardy if our judges cannot take free, fair decisions without external pressures or influence. Mr. Speaker, I just want to cite a note of caution that we look at this bill. I do understand, like I said, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, the sentiments of the mover of this motion, but I believe that it's not something that at this point in time can fly given the circumstances of our development. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues.
Noble Keita.